7 Japanese Secrets to Build Generational Wealth. Have you ever wondered why Japanese families seem to maintain their wealth across multiple generations, while so many American fortunes disappear within just 2 or 3? The answer lies in principles so powerful, yet so different from what we're taught in the West. Here's something shocking. The average Japanese household has financial assets worth over $300,000. That's nearly triple the American average, despite earning lower incomes. Even more surprising, 52% of Japanese families have maintained or grown their wealth across at least 3 generations, compared to just 10% of American families. The truth is, building lasting wealth has little to do with get-rich-quick schemes or even high incomes. While Americans often chase quick financial wins through the latest investment trends, Japanese families follow time-tested principles that ensure steady growth over decades and centuries, not just years. In today's video, I'll reveal 7 ancient Japanese secrets that have helped countless families build and maintain wealth for generations. These aren't complicated investment strategies. They're profound yet simple principles that anyone can apply, regardless of income or current financial situation. Stay until the end for the most powerful Japanese wealth secret of all, one that completely redefines what true prosperity means and explains why some of the world's happiest and longest-lived people aren't necessarily the richest. Have you incorporated financial wisdom from other cultures into your life? Type cultural wisdom in the comments if you're open to learning from traditions beyond our own. Let me share with you the first Japanese secret that has helped countless families build wealth that lasts for generations. A principle so powerful yet simple that it transforms how you view every dollar that passes through your hands. Madanai, the philosophy of not wasting. This single Japanese word carries deep cultural significance that shapes financial decisions in profound ways. Madanai literally translates to what a waste, but it represents something much deeper, a reverence for resources and a recognition that wastefulness is not just financially unwise but morally inappropriate. Here's the transformative truth. While American culture often celebrates consumption and replacement, Japanese families view resources, including money, as precious and worthy of respect. This isn't about extreme frugality or deprivation. It's about thoughtful stewardship that eliminates the thousands of small, wasteful decisions that silently erode wealth building over time. Consider the Tanaka family from Kyoto. Though their household income is modest by American standards, their net worth exceeds that of many Western families earning twice as much. Their secret? They apply Madanai to every financial decision. They repair rather than replace, use products fully before discarding them, and find creative new purposes for items others would throw away. These aren't just environmental choices. They're wealth-building habits that have allowed them to save over 30% of their income consistently for decades. The practical application begins with conducting a waste audit of your financial life. Track every expense for 30 days, then highlight items that didn't bring genuine value. The unused subscription services, impulse purchases that went unworn, restaurant meals that weren't truly enjoyed. Most Americans are shocked to discover that 15 to 20% of their spending falls into this category. Money that could be redirected to building generational wealth. Start small by adopting the Japanese practice of asking a simple question before purchases. Will this bring lasting value? Will I regret this expenditure later? This brief moment of reflection often prevents the impulsive spending that keeps so many Americans living paycheck to paycheck despite high incomes. This mindful approach to resources naturally connects to our second Japanese secret, a principle that creates sustainable financial health without requiring extreme sacrifices. Chawa, balance in financial life. While many Western approaches to wealth building focus on extremes, aggressive investing, severe budgeting, or intense side hustles, the Japanese concept of chawa offers a more sustainable path. This principle of harmony and balance recognizes that financial decisions don't exist in isolation, but must integrate seamlessly with overall life satisfaction. The surprising reality is that extreme financial approaches often fail long-term, not because they don't work mathematically, but because they're psychologically unsustainable. Japanese households typically save substantially more than American families, not by making dramatic sacrifices, but by finding a sustainable balance that can be maintained consistently over decades. Take the Yamamoto family from Tokyo. They save nearly 25% of their income while living comfortably in one of the world's most expensive cities. Their approach isn't based on deprivation, but on intentional balance. They allocate resources generously to what truly matters to them: high-quality education, family meals, and cultural experiences, while being purposely minimal in areas they decided bring less value, like frequent car upgrades or the latest electronic gadgets. The practical implementation involves creating what Japanese financial advisors call the 5-jar system: one for essential needs, one for long-term savings and investments, one for education and skill development, one for experiences that bring joy, and one for giving to others. The exact percentages vary by family, but the principle remains consistent: creating intentional balance rather than all-or-nothing approaches to spending and saving. Begin by identifying your true priorities. Not what advertising or social pressure suggests should matter, but what genuinely brings lasting satisfaction to your family. Then adjust your spending to align with these priorities, redirecting resources from low-value areas to high-value investments in your future. This balanced approach creates financial sustainability that flashy get-rich-quick schemes simply cannot match. This focus on sustainable balance naturally leads to our third Japanese wealth-building secret, one that fundamentally changes how you make financial decisions: multi-generational thinking instead of short-term planning. Perhaps the most profound difference between Japanese and American financial thinking lies in time horizons. While many Western families plan 5 to 10 years ahead, traditional Japanese families think in terms of decades or even centuries, making decisions that benefit not just themselves but generations yet unborn. The paradigm-shifting truth is that extending your financial planning horizon dramatically changes which decisions make sense. Investments that seem unattractive over a 5-year period often become compelling over 50 years. Conversely, choices that appear beneficial in the short term frequently reveal themselves as destructive when viewed through a multi-generational lens. Consider Japan's remarkable shine eyes, family businesses that have survived for centuries. The oldest, Nishiyama Onsen Kaiunken, has operated continuously since 705 AD, through wars, natural disasters, and economic upheavals. How? By making decisions based not on quarterly profits, but on sustainability across generations. Each caretaker sees themselves not as an owner, but as a temporary steward protecting something meant to outlive them. The practical application begins with creating a 100-year family financial plan, a document that outlines values, assets, and intentions across multiple generations. This isn't just for the wealthy. Even modest income families can benefit from thinking beyond their own lifetimes. Start by defining what you hope your financial legacy will accomplish. Then work backward to determine what must be established during your lifetime. Japanese families often create family constitutions that guide financial decisions across generations, explaining not just what assets exist, but the values behind them and how they should be preserved and grown. This might include guidelines for education funding, business succession, charitable giving, and wealth preservation that extend far beyond your own lifetime. Have you ever thought about financial planning beyond your own lifetime? Type legacy planning in the comments if you're interested in building wealth that benefits future generations. Now, let's explore the fourth Japanese secret, an approach to financial improvement that makes sustained progress almost inevitable: Kaizen, continuous financial improvement. While Western approaches to money often focus on dramatic transformations, going from broke to millionaire, achieving financial freedom in X years, Japanese wisdom embraces Kaizen, the philosophy of small, consistent improvements that compound over time. The profound insight here is that financial transformation rarely happens through dramatic overnight changes. Instead, lasting wealth comes from establishing systems that improve incrementally, consistently, and almost invisibly over extended periods. This isn't as exciting as promises of quick riches, but it's far more reliable and explains why Japanese households have maintained some of the world's highest savings rates for generations. Consider Kenji's approach to financial improvement. When he began his wealth-building journey, rather than attempting a dramatic budget overhaul that would have been unsustainable, he improved his savings rate by just 1% every 3 months. This gentle progression, hardly noticeable in his daily life, increases savings from 5% to 25% over 5 years, a transformation that felt effortless compared to attempting an immediate 20% reduction in spending. The practical implementation involves creating a Kaizen calendar for your finances, scheduling small, specific improvements at regular intervals throughout the year. This might mean automating an additional $50 monthly to investments each quarter, spending 30 minutes weekly reviewing expenses for potential efficiencies, or mastering one new financial concept each month. Start by identifying your primary financial weak spot, whether it's excessive spending, insufficient investing, disorganized record keeping, or inadequate insurance. Then create a series of tiny improvements addressing this area, each so small that it triggers minimal resistance. The Japanese wisdom recognizes that the pace matters less than the direction and consistency. Small steps that continue inevitably reach their destination. This methodical improvement naturally connects to our fifth Japanese wealth-building secret, one that ensures financial wisdom accumulates across generations rather than restarting with each new family member. Prioritizing financial education from childhood. In many Western households, money remains a taboo subject rarely discussed with children until they're nearly adults. By contrast, Japanese families typically begin financial education when children are as young as 3 years old, using age-appropriate lessons that grow increasingly sophisticated as children mature. The essential truth is that financial habits are largely formed by age 7, according to research from the University of Cambridge. By waiting until the teenage years or later to begin money discussions, Western parents often miss the critical window when financial attitudes are most malleable. Japanese families recognize that early, intentional financial education creates natural savers and investors who don't have to unlearn poor money habits later in life. The Japanese Odoshidama tradition exemplifies this approach. During New Year celebrations, children receive money gifts in special envelopes from relatives. Rather than allowing immediate spending of the entire amount, parents guide children through a meaningful allocation process, typically dividing funds between immediate enjoyment, short-term savings for specific goals, and long-term savings never to be touched. This simple annual ritual teaches delayed gratification, purposeful planning, and a concept that money can work over time. The practical implementation begins with age-appropriate activities that make money tangible and understandable. For young children, transparent jars work better than piggy banks, allowing them to visually track their savings growth. For elementary-age children, involving them in specific family purchase decisions and explaining trade-offs creates context for value assessment. By middle school, introducing basic investment concepts through real but modest investments shows the power of compound growth. Most importantly, make money discussions a natural, judgment-free part of family life rather than a source of anxiety or secrecy. Share age-appropriate aspects of family financial decisions. Explain values that guide your choices, and be willing to discuss both successes and mistakes as valuable learning opportunities. What financial lessons have you taught your children or grandchildren? Type financial education in the comments if you believe early money lessons are the key to building generational wealth. This intentional education naturally reinforces our sixth Japanese wealth-building secret, a principle that distinguishes consistent wealth builders from those who repeatedly start and stop their financial progress. Gammon, financial patience and discipline. In a culture of instant gratification, where by now, pay later has become the standard approach, the Japanese concept of gammon, the ability to endure temporary discomfort for long-term gain, offers a powerful alternative. This principle of patient perseverance through challenges forms the backbone of sustainable wealth creation. The uncomfortable reality is that building significant wealth requires navigating periods that feel unrewarding, market downturns where investments temporarily lose value, social situations where it would be easier to spend lavishly, or years of consistent saving before results become visible. Japanese culture celebrates the ability to maintain discipline during these challenging periods, recognizing that most financial failures stem not from poor strategies, but from abandoning sound strategies prematurely. Consider Hiroshi's investment experience during Japan's lost decade in the 1990s, when markets declined dramatically. While many investors panicked and sold at losses, his commitment to gammon allowed him to maintain his investment plan unchanged through the entire downturn. When markets eventually recovered and later flourished, his unwavering discipline resulted in returns dramatically superior to those who had attempted to time market entries and exits. The practical approach begins with identifying your personal financial discomfort triggers, the specific situations that typically cause you to abandon long-term plans for short-term relief. For some, it's social pressure to maintain appearances. For others, it's anxiety during market volatility or impatience with seemingly slow progress. By recognizing these triggers in advance, you can develop specific response strategies before emotions take control. Japanese families often create structures that make discipline easier by removing daily decision points. This might include automated investments that occur immediately after receiving income, clearly defined rules for when assets can be sold, and regular review periods that prevent emotional reactions during volatility. The goal isn't eliminating all financial comfort, but rather distinguishing between meaningful enjoyment and impulsive decisions that undermine long-term security. This patient discipline naturally leads us to our final, and perhaps most profound Japanese wealth-building secret, one that fundamentally redefines what financial success actually means. Ikigai. True wealth extends far beyond money. While Western financial success is often measured primarily through net worth statements and material acquisitions, the Japanese concept of ikigai, roughly translated as reason for being, offers a more holistic definition of wealth that integrates purpose, community, and meaning alongside financial resources. The life-changing insight is that beyond a moderate income level, additional wealth often yields diminishing returns in life satisfaction unless it connects to deeper purpose. Japanese culture recognizes that the truly wealthy life encompasses financial security, but extends to finding work that matters, relationships that nourish, and a sense that one's existence contributes meaningfully to something beyond oneself. The evidence appears in places like Okinawa, Japan, home to some of the world's longest-lived people. Residents there typically have modest financial means by Western standards, yet report exceptional life satisfaction well into their 90s and beyond. Researchers attribute this largely to their strong sense of ikigai, continuing to contribute to family and community with a clear purpose throughout their entire lives. Their wealth isn't measured in yen, but in meaning, connection, and the knowledge that their existence matters. Consider Takeshi, who inherited his family's substantial manufacturing business. Rather than maximizing short-term profits as Western business models might suggest, he restructured the company around principles that would allow employees to find their own ikigai through their work, creating more flexible roles aligned with individual strengths and community impact. The result wasn't just a more engaged workforce, but substantially increased profitability and a business more likely to survive for generations. The practical implementation begins with creating what the Japanese call an ikigai diagram, a simple four-circle Venn diagram showing the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be compensated for. Financial decisions that move you toward this intersection frequently create both monetary and non-monetary forms of wealth simultaneously. For families with substantial financial resources, this principle guides legacy planning beyond just tax efficiency. Japanese tradition encourages creating structures where inherited wealth serves as a foundation for future generations to find their own ikigai, rather than as a substitute for a purposeful contribution. This might include funding education that allows descendants to follow meaningful paths regardless of compensation, or establishing family foundations where multiple generations work together towards shared values. Have you discovered your own ikigai, your purpose beyond financial accumulation? Type ikigai in the comments if you believe true wealth extends far beyond money alone. These 7 Japanese principles, Madanai, not wasting, Chow, balance, multi-generational thinking, Kaizen, continuous improvement, early financial education, Gammon, patience, and ikigai, purpose, create a comprehensive framework for building wealth that doesn't just last for decades, but can extend for centuries. While each is powerful individually, their true strength emerges when applied together as an integrated philosophy. Unlike flashy get-rich-quick schemes that promise overnight results but rarely deliver, these time-tested principles have guided Japanese families through economic booms, recessions, and even wartime devastation, while maintaining financial stability across generations. They don't require exceptional intelligence, insider connections, or even high incomes, just consistent application of wisdom that has stood the test of time. The question now isn't whether these principles work. Centuries of evidence confirm they do. The question is which of them you'll begin implementing in your own financial life, and how they might transform not just your bank account, but your relationship with money itself. We've now explored 7 powerful Japanese principles for building wealth that lasts generations. Madanai, eliminating waste; Chowa, financial balance; multi-generational thinking; Kaizen, continuous improvement; early financial education; Gammon, patience and discipline; and Ikigai, finding purpose beyond money. These principles aren't just financial strategies. They're a comprehensive philosophy that has helped Japanese families preserve and grow wealth through wars, economic upheavals, and countless market cycles. The beauty is that each one works independently, but together they create an unshakable foundation for lasting prosperity. This week, I challenge you to select just one of these principles and begin implementing it in your financial life. Perhaps start with a simple waste audit to discover where your resources are leaking, or create a multi-generational plan that extends beyond your own lifetime. Even small steps aligned with these timeless principles can dramatically change your financial trajectory. Leave a comment saying "Japanese wisdom" if you plan to incorporate one of these principles into your financial strategy. I'd love to know which one resonated most deeply with you. In our next video, I'll explore wealth-building secrets from other cultures, from Scandinavian minimalism to Jewish financial traditions that have preserved prosperity through centuries of upheaval. Remember, true wealth isn't measured merely by the numbers in your bank account, but by the values, knowledge, and purpose you pass to future generations. While money that serves no purpose beyond itself often disappears quickly, wealth aligned with deeper meaning tends to grow and flourish across time. That might be the most valuable lesson Japanese financial wisdom offers us all.